guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I am filming a video that one of you guys requested and I'm super excited about it. So I want to jump right in, but before we get started I want to remind you guys to like the video if you haven't already, and if you're not subscribed you should be, because once the channel reaches 5,000 subscribers we're going to be doing a huge giveaway and you won't want to miss out. So with that being said, today I am breaking down my top 5 eyeshadow palettes, and I also have a couple honorable mentions because I can't help myself. I want to share like all the palettes that I'm loving basically. So I have a top 5, not really in any particular order, and then I have 3 honorable mentions. So okay, we're gonna start with the honorable mentions, and the great thing is that all 3 of these are fairly affordable and easy to get a hold of palettes. So I'm gonna start with this one first. This is by Nabla Cosmetics. This is the Secret Garden palette. This is such a beautiful palette. There's really beautiful, cool, neutral tones, a couple pops of color, but pops of color that are really easy to use. There's a good black shade, which is like you need. This is just sort of unique, but also very wearable. This brand you can get at Morphe and Ulta, I believe, and they have their own website. So this is a sort of smaller brand, but they're definitely becoming a lot more popular, and this palette is so good. I did a whole video on this one, so if I remember I will link it either in the description or in the cards, but I love this palette. It's really, really good. The next one I want to mention is the Zodiac palette by Kathleen Lights and ColourPop. This is just, it's beautiful. Again, it's got some really beautiful neutral tones and then a couple fun pops of color. And it's a really good size. This, I think, is limited edition, / I don't know if you can get it anymore. But I really like it. This black shade, I use this all the time. It is my favorite powder shadow to smoke underneath the eye, or as a liner. So that's kind of a trick that I do if I'm not wearing falsies or I don't want to use liquid liner. I will take this eyeshadow right here, and you can see it has a little bit of gold shimmer in it, and I do a wing with that and it looks so good. So this is specifically this palette, but also any ColourPop palette makes it into my favorite palettes. They're so good and super affordable. The next one and the last honorable mention is the Get It Together eyeshadow palette from Honest Beauty. I've done a couple videos trying Honest Beauty and their skincare range, and all in all I really like a lot of their products. I like what the brand stands for, and this eyeshadow palette, while it may look pretty unassuming, it's very basic tones. It is just so beautiful. If you are someone who just really wants easy, like out the door quick 5 minutes but I look great makeup, this is perfect. It's so easy to use and it looks good every time, and it has cool and warm tones. It's got a good black and a nice base white shade. So if you're a beginner or if you're just looking to get back to basics, this is good, cleanly formulated, and easy to get your hands on. I think I got this from Amazon, but they sell it at Ulta, Target. They have their own website. Like, you can get a hold of Honest from just about anywhere, and I love that. Next, we're going to move on to my favorites. I have 5 laid out, and I'm gonna talk about them, I think, in the order that I got them. And unfortunately, this bad boy right here is not available. You might be able to find it on Amazon. You might be able to find it on, I think I might have found it on Anastasia's website, but this is the Sultry palette by ABH. This might have been a holiday launch, but look at this packaging. It is glittery, it is beautiful, and the shades in here are just as gorgeous. This is one of my all-time favorite palettes. If I ever don't know what to do, I go back to this. Like, can we just take a minute? You guys can see this is very well loved. It's so pretty. This shade in particular, Cyborg, I have never seen anything like this before or since I got this palette. It is so unique, so pretty, and I always say all the time, like, I feel like this is the eyeshadow I want to wear on my wedding day because it never lets me down. It always looks good. It's so pretty. So can't go wrong with that. And actually, fun fact, Anastasia is the brand that I got my first ever like real eyeshadow palette from. So I've always kind of had a soft spot for their shadows. I really like the formula. I also have the first Norvina palette, so it looks like this, but it's got the purple packaging before she came out with those big larger palettes. But so I've tried a lot of Anastasia palettes. I still have 2. This one is in my all-time top 5. Like, I'm always gonna love this. Probably will never get rid of it because it's just like one of those like beautiful keepsake items. Unless you're not into glitter, then this might be a little bit much for you, but I love it, and this is such a good palette. The next palette, this is one that you guys are probably like, duh, we hear you talk about this all the time. If you've watched a lot of my other palettes, you probably heard me talk about this. I am hoping that they are going to restock this. It's currently sold out on the ColourPop website, but I'm like keeping my fingers crossed because this is such a good palette. This is the So Jaded palette, another Kathleen Lights and ColourPop collab. I really like Kathleen. I've been watching her videos for a long time, but I also just love the products that her and ColourPop have come up with. So this is what the palette looks like. It's got a great mix of nudes, warm and cool, and this has a lot more fun options. There's also a variety of different formulas. You can see metallics, mattes, and then there's some of these like chunky glitter shades. They're really, really cool. So there's just a lot that you can do with this. It's thin, so it's really easy to travel with. Like, this is a palette that, like, if I'm just like, I have no idea what I'm gonna want to do, I just bring this if I'm going somewhere because, I mean, you can do anything. I have not even probably touched half of these shadows or like even a quarter of the possible combinations just because there's so many options, and I love having a palette like this on hand. If you don't have something that has some options in some fun colors, I highly recommend trying to grab one because it's just, I don't know, it's just nice to have the option, you know? And again, ColourPop, super affordable. This next one, I guess, is maybe a little controversial now. I don't know really what's going on in the beauty world, but this is the Tati Beauty Textured Neutrals Volume 1. Let me just say this. There's been a lot of drama surrounding everyone involved in Tati, Jane, Jeffrey, all those people. We're gonna just ignore all that for this, okay? I definitely have thoughts and opinions on it, but we're gonna pretend like that's not going on. And we're just gonna talk about this palette because regardless, this is such a stunning palette. First off, it's got a huge mirror and a nice mirror. Like, this is a glass mirror, it's not plastic. It's really, really nice. And then just the layout of the palette is so unique. I love the color she chose. There's some really cool formulas. These are like chunky glitters, but chunky in a good way. Metallic formulas that are gorgeous. Then this sequin formula, they're mattes with a little bit of glitter in them. You can kind of tell, and they're so pretty. The mattes are creamy. It blends well. It's just a great neutral palette, and I can't deny that. And I love the color story. I love it all. You can do a lot with this. And like I said, I know maybe it's a little controversial, but I want Tati Beauty to come back. I've loved all the launches she's put out, and I want to see volume 2 of this palette because it says volume 1 right on the side, and I know she's planning to do volumes and volumes of these, and I want to see the next one. So comment down below if you are in on Tati Beauty, or if you're totally over all the drama and you're like don't want to support the brand anymore. Okay, we are down to the final 2 eyeshadow palettes, and these are both relatively new to me, but I just know they are like my favorites. Both of them have standalone videos that I've recently posted, so if you want to see more in depth on them, they will be linked down below, or you can just head to my channel to check them out. But the first one is the Natasha Denona Glam palette. You guys, this is a pricey little number. This is $65. It is new from Natasha Denona, and I did a whole video. I had no idea how I was going to feel about this because Natasha Denona is sort of a cult favorite brand. A lot of people love her formula. And I had tried a few palettes before and like they were like fine to me. But I think I was picking sort of weird color stories that I just wouldn't reach for anyway. This palette, oh my goodness. This is so pretty. Look at those metallics. Like, the pan doesn't even do them justice until you get them on your eyes. And I just think this is so wearable. Like, you don't often see palettes like this anymore right now. We're seeing a lot of palettes that have more fun pops of color, which is fine. I actually prefer recommending those to you guys because I think you get a little more bang for your buck. But that being said, if you just want a palette that is just like not gonna fail you, you know you're investing a little more for high quality and it's gonna look stunning, this is a great option. Like, you don't have to work applying these. It's just like, sorry, done. Like, done in 2 seconds. Love it. The very last palette is the one that I'm actually wearing on my eyes today. This might be my new favorite formula of eyeshadow, or it's in my top 3 for sure. And I love the color story on this. So this is new from Charlotte Tilbury. This is the Bejeweled Eyes to Hypnotize palette. This is from her holiday collection. It is $75. So she's expensive, but it is so stinking pretty. Very similar idea to the Natasha Denona one where it's all really pretty neutral, but look at these. You get 3 different trios and they're warm tone, cool tone, nude, brown, pinks, purples, cranberries, like just so pretty. I actually have a lot of the cranberries on my eyes today and some of the browns. Like, it's just a really, really pretty palette. I love how it looks on the eyes. It's an investment, okay? If I didn't have this channel and I didn't review makeup for fun, I don't know if I would have just bought this, but having tried it, I really like it. And I can definitely say that if you think it's gorgeous, you think it's something you're gonna wear all the time, it's worth picking up. If you're not that invested in eyeshadow and you just like know like it might not be your everyday, then maybe this is not the one for you. You know, maybe stick to one of the more affordable ones like the Honest. All right, you guys, my foot is completely asleep from sitting on my floor, which means it is time to wrap up this video. That is my top 5 eyeshadow palettes and a couple honorable mentions because, you know, I can't just stop at 5. But I didn't have enough to go all the way to 10, you know? It's a fine line. So we just make our own rules here, right? Anyway, that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Hopefully maybe I inspired you to try a new palette or you got some ideas on what you want to pick up. But yeah, if you guys have any questions as well about palette recommendations, I'm always happy to chat. I try and comment back to as many people as I can. So if you have any questions, leave them down below. Along those same lines, if you have seen a recent launch or a palette that you are dying to get an opinion on, let me know. I love trying new makeup, so I'm happy to do a review on anything new that you guys are curious about. But yeah, that's pretty much it from me. Thank you guys again so much for watching. Like I said in the beginning, don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you again very soon.